I'm good.
And we are streaming.
Sweet. Just
Awesome.
because it's a mental thing for me, I'm gonna wait until we catch up. And there I go. I see myself.
Yep.
Hey everybody, how are you doing? Welcome to another installment of Meet the Maker. This week, we have Steve from Steve Builds.
Hello.
Super excited to have you, man. We've had an opportunity to meet a few times at different events. You are
Yep.
always a pleasure to be with. You have an energy that I feel like just radiates, around you, which is it's wonderful to have you.
Thank you.
I know you've watched some of these, and we sometime during the stream it always comes up. We should talk to Steve. So we felt like this would be a good time. I do want to give you just an opportunity. I'm sure there are some people on the stream that maybe haven't watched you as a social media sort of your presence there. Maybe just
hmm
if you want to introduce yourself real quick, and then we can talk to the team, and then I want to talk a little bit about what's happening next week.
Awesome. Well, my name is Steve. I am a member of the Voron design team and have been there for, what is it, 3.5 years now? Have been a member. I started streaming builds on YouTube because we had just released the Voron Trident, and I wanted to give a hand at showing people how to build it. And it just kind of kept going and it kept going. And so I've been regularly streaming for a little over 2 years now. So in between just generally having a blast with this hobby, probably the most fun hobby I've ever been involved in. So
No, that's awesome. I do want to, before we introduce everybody else, just on that, is it something now, because you stream a lot, and I mean it's something that I'm sure as you're building printers, for the most part you're streaming. I'm sure you have some examples of things you're building or have built that are not being streamed. But for you, is it more natural now, if you're going to do something, to sort of consider or think about, should I or am I going to stream this, rather than just do
yeah,
it
for
on your
sure.
own?
For sure. One of the things that streaming has actually done is caused me to finish builds. Without that incentive, that kind of motivation, it
The
takes me a
pressure.
very long time. It's been a really positive thing for me to actually complete stuff.
That's
So
awesome. I will let if Alan, if you want to do just a quick intro for yourself, and Hudson, and then I'll introduce myself too.
Sure. I'm Alan. I work at West 3D. Like everyone else, handle a lot of orders and also am the media manager. So I put together videos and things like this.
Alan's who you have to thank for having us do these streams. It was his idea, and he's the one that
awesome.
keeps us going. So thank you, Alan.
Of course.
Hudson?
Yeah, I'm Hudson. I'm the weekend guy at West 3D. I kind of just show up on the weekend, pack some orders, and help where I can, and then dip out for the week.
Yeah, so one thing maybe you guys don't know is we are a Monday through Friday operation. We do try to give everybody as much time, to have their personal lives as they can. But as we've grown, we've needed Hudson, and thank you for just helping smooth that out, so we're not coming up on Monday just, with wildness in the office. And so yeah, if you start seeing things being fulfilled on Saturday, that's Hudson most likely. I'm Daniel McKay. I'm the one that started West 3D. We just hit our 2-year birthday last month, and so we ran a promotion, which we'll do a raffle for today, which is to win a V0. And so we'll be doing that here pretty soon. I have some other things that we're going to give away, so we'll talk about that. But if you guys haven't done a Meet the Maker before, we do this, I would say, roughly once a month. And we bring in people that the community requests to just learn a little bit more about them. It's a very unstructured interview. It's an opportunity for them to share things that interest them, maybe things that they haven't shared before. And it's just an opportunity for us to get to know them in a way that, yeah, you guys, if you ask questions, we'll ask it of Steve or whoever's with us that week. So that's how it is. We have, if you've watched these in the past, we've had some interviews that go a long time. I mean, I think we've gone 4 hours before on an interview. This Meet the Maker, we will try our best to be a little bit more, a little bit. We'll try to be a little bit more brief. Steve did just have a stream today. If you guys didn't catch Steve Build's stream, you can go to his channel and find it. But he probably needs a little bit of break from talking too. So, so we'll try to end here around 7, so in about 2 hours. If you guys do have any questions, I've seen a couple pop up here for the store, but if you have any questions for Steve or anything you'd like us to ask, please do feel comfortable to put that in chat, and we'll make sure that it gets asked.
And Daniel, now that
yes.
we've done that, I am going to mute myself for a minute here and finish my dinner so that I don't have a little blood sugar emergency during our conversation. So I will be back in just a second.
Awesome. Very good. So Steve, one of the reasons why we wanted to do something this week is because you have something exciting happening next week, and we thought it would be good for our viewers to learn a little bit about that or know about that. Are you able to share?
Yeah, absolutely. It's pretty awesome. Something I never expected I would be at this point. So 2 years of streaming. I started at the very beginning of September of 2021. And we're at 2 years of streaming, we just hit 10,000 subscribers for a live stream only channel. I want to do standalone videos, but without any, the response and the audience has been overwhelming. I get lots of messages saying the certain aspects of what I do that people like, and it seems to have resonated with a pretty big community, and we've built a community. The people in my chat are during my streams are the best. I don't have to moderate my channel, so in celebration of that, next week, the 12th, at my normal stream time, we're going to do a little celebratory stream, and we have a wide variety of vendors on board. It's basically going to be a bunch of giveaways and chat and hang out and have a good time. So it's going to be a blast. So 10 a.m.
Awesome.
Pacific, Sunday the 12th.
Yeah. So mark your guys' calendars. I think I'll actually be able to make that too. Weekends are always crazy for me with kids' practices and things, but I think we have that week off. So Steve, so you have a lot, I mean, I think you have a lot of vendors that are here to celebrate with you. I know we're doing something. I know you have Fabrico. Who else do you have that's shipping?
Yeah, I mean, all the main folks that I deal with on a regular basis: Hue, Fabrico, KB3D, Printed Solid, LDO, Big Tree Tech, Mellow, Polymaker, Pex Peppers.
Yes, hot sauce.
I need to finish the list. So, and there's a few that I need to still kind of chat with and iron out details. But yeah, it's going to be pretty fun. So
that'll be really exciting. So now obviously you've got 10,000. I assume at what point when you started streaming, and I think a lot of people have heard the story of why you started streaming or how you started streaming, but I mean, we can cover that too. But I've been curious. I don't think I've asked you this, but at what point were you like, okay, this is like a thing that I'm going to just keep doing? And obviously you've built up enough traction that you're steadily getting more subscribers.
It was super early that I decided that I liked it. It was right. I mean, 2021, we were still fairly not fully comfortable going out everywhere. Things are just starting to come back from the pandemic, and that social interaction on stream and and working through. So my very first streams I tried to do in Discord, where I had other people that were able to talk at the same time. And it only lasted a couple of streams, because what I found out is that I don't like to interrupt, although I'm terrible at it. I'm terrible doing it because of that. But it's hard when you're trying to show something and you're waiting for someone else to finish talking. So I switched over. I didn't think I would like it at first, but I switched over to relying entirely on chat for my interaction instead of that verbal, two-way verbal interaction. So once I did that, I found out I liked it, because then I could basically say whatever I wanted and respond in my own time.
And no one can interrupt you or say the opposite.
Exactly. And I made it a point very early on, and I'm trying to keep that going, is that everybody in chat is who I want to interact with. It's trying to keep, I mean, the whole, we have a very slow start to the streams because there's lots of saying hi to people. And all of that is important to me, because I'm not necessarily going out there trying to make the most appealing stream to the widest audience. I'm going out there doing what I want to do, have fun. Stand in front of people and build something. So
well,
so it was early, and it wasn't something that I was worried too much. I was excited about the subscriber numbers and the audience that was growing, but it's never been something that I've been concerned with where it goes. I'm still doing it. I would do it anyway if the numbers were different, just because it's fun. And like I said before, it really does get me to complete projects. I would have tried a fraction of the things that I've tried if it wasn't for the stream, for the channel.
It seems like, one of the things that would be challenging is just your ability to, and you must have this ability, but to compartmentalize things a little bit, because I feel like even as you're doing, it's not the starting of the show and you're actually doing something and you're showing people something, you still are pretty engaging to the people that are talking to you or on chat. I mean, sometimes I'll pop in and you'll say hi and I'm like, I didn't even say anything, like, but I mean, so you stop what you're doing and you take a moment to see what's happening and you actually sit and respond, and you can go right back to what you're doing, which has always really impressed me. There's no way I could do it.
I have no idea, honestly. I wouldn't have thought. Well, maybe having a little bit of a squirrel brain helps there, because I'm cycling through 10 things at once, and 3 of those are looking at chat. So
yeah. We've got, I do want to say, yeah, I've seen a couple of these, the collaboration streams that you've had. It seems like people have really liked those. Are you liking those? That's a different.
Oh, big time. Big time. I have thoroughly enjoyed all of the guests that I've had on my stream. Bringing the Nomad from the Positron project on, Kyle from the Micron, and Jared from the Galileo. There have been others, but with the collaboration with Daniel and Modbot, we worked on that and we worked hard, and we're super proud of how that went. We thought outside of the box in terms of our stream setup, and it worked way better than we would have thought. And it seems that it's had a pretty good response from the audience too. So, and being able to, and the pooch interaction too.
Yeah.
I forgot that. But just the ability to go back and forth. So Daniel and I, remote like that, worked out perfect. The one with Pooch in person was awesome. I'm all about the collaborations. It's a lot of fun.
Are there any collaborations that you're currently working on that you're able to?
Yeah. Not that I want to necessarily say yet, because we're not far enough along to move forward. But there will be more. And there will be another with Daniel. That's without a doubt. Cool. I had Max on for Voron Kit. Did we have Yuri on for Solid Fork or not? I don't remember.
Well, you
But
could have them on if you're doing a Solid Fork 180 build once that is released.
I am excited because I need to revisit Solid Fork. I feel like that's a project that I didn't 100% 100% finish. So that's going to get a revisit. It's just a matter of when. So
The I guess I'm curious for you have to, I mean, obviously you just talked about you have different formats now. The live stream versus the collaboration, or even if you were to do video where that wasn't live stream, is there, it sounds like the collaboration has a lot more planning. What kind of planning goes into your live streams?
not a lot.
So, I mean, the nice thing is, or I guess, do you have, like, if something, I don't know, you can prepare for everything in the world. You're going to find out there's a printed part that you missed, or, something like that. Do you have like things that you can pivot to, or do you just sometimes say, hey, you know what? We're cutting it, or we're just going to talk?
I front load a lot of prep, of course.
Okay.
So when I'm planning, when I'm getting ready to do some sort of build, I will try to get all the printed parts done. Kind of, if it's an unfamiliar build, try to get some research into what's available, what kind of issues I might run into, and have. I'm definitely a overthinker in the planning stage, which makes things take a while to get going, but usually serves as an advantage for the process, because usually I've thought of the project all the way to the end. So most of my projects are a matter of just making sure that I have the things. If I have all the things, then I can usually get through a 3 or 4 hour stream without too much difficulty.
Yeah, it's really impressive watching. I mean, I think you have a skill that I don't think is very easy to come by. I'm gonna let Alan or Hudson, if they have any questions, jump in.
Well, I did see a question pop up in the chat. Let me find it. From Sean Connolly, wanted to know what got you noticed by the Voron design team.
Well, I had I had come in, and when I discovered Voron, I don't know, I was working on a hypercube evolution for a long time. Basically completely redesigned or tweaked every part on that and got way caught up. This is one of those things that I worked on that thing for over a year, and got caught up in the redesign and tweaking all the parts, and I never actually finished it. When I saw, I don't remember where I saw it, Reddit or a search or some sort of review about the Voron, and they were just releasing the 2.2, the V2.2. And I ordered all the parts for that and built an early version of the Afterburner beta, and then got a little frustrated with that because I couldn't get the dual MGN9 rail to run smoothly. And so I kind of set it aside for a little while, and then came back when 2.4 was released, and they'd made that interface adjustable for that second rail. So that whole build went well, but there were a few bits of the build that I had comments on. And on the Discord, the Voron Discord, I made some comments and chatted with Max a little bit, left a couple of comments, DM comments, and back and forth. So I guess I just kind of caught Max's attention as someone who has some ability to build these things and notice potential tweaks or whatever. So that got me pulled into, if anybody, most people won't remember, a little side project called Manifold that kind of failed and sputtered. But from that came Switchwire, and got pulled in to the Switchwire development and ended up building the second printing example of that, serial number 1, since Max gets serial number 0. So that's kind of what got me noticed, is kind of just giving feedback, being in the Discord, going through the designs, and I feel like, and I know I was very new to CAD at the time. but going through and taking the time to go through and clean up the CAD, Switchwire, going through and making sure all the bolts are correct and everything's named properly, and all that stuff. Prior to getting really heavy into 3D printing stuff, I played a couple of video games, WoW, and I was good at grinding. and sitting there and going through every little detail in CAD is kind of a grind, right? So,
wow. What got you? Because I mean, it's one beautiful thing I think about the Voron community is that there's so many people that just see things or think things should be done a little bit differently, so they do their own. They offer suggestions, they do their own mods. I mean, I think it is one of the really nice things about the community. They will give their time, but not everybody does that. And I'm curious. So you've explained sort of how you got noticed, I think, by the Voron team, but what was your drive to even get in that far and to start doing tweaks or recommending things or working on something from really the ground level? Is there something behind that?
I mean, it's just the general idea to, just like with the Hypercube or my CR10 before, it was fun to get in there in CAD and make tweaks, make it fit what I wanted to do. For instance, my first Voron 2 is an odd build size. It's 320 millimeters. So, and that's from coming from a CR10 that has a 310 millimeter build plate, and I wanted to use the same flex sheets.
Okay.
So that's the whole idea, is I wanted to use the same flex sheet. So I go out on the Voron Discord and say, hey, I want to build this thing. I want to use my CR10 flex sheets. So should I build a 310? Should I go into the, because this is all self-sourced at the time. There's not a kit to be found. And Doc from one of the admins, Doc, comes in and says, you might want to make it a little bigger for room for a nozzle scrubber and stuff like that. Still run a 310 bed, but run a little bigger frame. So that's where I settled on 320 millimeters, not realizing that in Voron world and in general, as far as sizing linear rails and that kind of thing, you really want to be in 25 millimeter increments.
Yeah.
So what that caused me to do is completely redo the skirts on the printer, because those are sized for 25 millimeter increments. Anything at 25 millimeter increments is an easy change. So that got me into CAD on the Voron, and then just looking at the other areas like the Z idlers, the Z drive idlers. One of the changes I suggested was it was hard to get a ball end driver into that screw. It's moved out a little bit more because of my feedback.
No.
So.
Oh, that's awesome. I mean, and were they pretty receptive, like sort of right away?
Oh yeah.
That's
that's
gotta be,
mostly receptive. So Max has always been super receptive, and I don't remember who said otherwise, but a lot of my design inspiration very early on came from like Gregoire in the Bear, with the Prusa Bear modifications and Prusa CAD design as well, as far as like the cross bridge unsupported bolt holes set up and making your horizontal holes with a flat top so they bridge better and form a better hole, all those kind of things. And one of my early questions in the Voron group was, why do you use these chamfers for unsupported holes? Because you end up with a much smaller surface area for your bolt to push against, and you end up deforming plastic, and the bolt goes in further than you expected, and that kind of thing. And that kind of got brushed aside. But if you notice, there's a lot of cross bridge stuff in the latest CAD now.
Wow. Yeah, it's got to be. I mean, it sounds unreal for somebody that sort of came sort of a little later, I guess. I mean, how has the community changed? Because I'm assuming then it wasn't I don't know how many tens of thousands of people, you can call it, 50,000 plus people, I'm assuming now.
It's right at 50,000 now, and we prune it. That server gets pruned.
Well, and I'm assuming that's Discord, right? So if you were to
Yeah.
if you were to start going through Facebook, and I
Yeah.
mean, there's other, and I mean, I still think there's a lot of there's still a lot of community support. I'm wondering, has it changed a little bit? I assume as you get more and more people, it becomes harder to sift through, for lack of a better term, like the noise that comes through, you know, from everybody else. Has it changed?
Yeah, it's changed significantly. The general attitude on the server has changed for the better. There was definitely a transition period there right about when I came in. Had nothing to do with me. It's just I ended up timing wise coming in at this point where there was a transition in the attitude towards what people are wanting to do, towards modifications, towards all this kind of stuff. And then definitely as the server gets bigger and bigger, it gets to be a little tough to follow, a little noisy. But still what's coming out of it is pretty fun. I have a hard time keeping up with stuff, and at a certain point I can't try. I can't do every mod that comes out there. I'm streaming 1 day a week, and it's hard to cover everything.
I imagine, you know, part of it now is just you have to wait to see what sort of floats to the top that is getting sort of that momentum behind it to be able to focus on it.
Yeah. And there's definitely a lot of things that are on my mind floating around that I'd like to cover at some point. I just have no idea when.
Are there any mods or anything that you've done recently that you've enjoyed or thought are pretty cool?
No, because I've been so busy on builds.
Not because they're all bad.
No, not at all. I guess a mod, consider this Voron setup I'm working on in the current V0. This is a mod that is done by Hard K, as far as the little Voron toolhead board and a custom shroud on there. What other things have I done? Not a whole lot. Not lately.
Yeah.
We're working on the VZBot build with Daniel. Has been, I mean, all these big builds take quite a bit of time.
We did have a question earlier that I wanted to, and I know, I mean, there's always very limited things you can share, but there was both. Someone was asking about a V2.5, and then someone was asking about a new Trident release. I guess instead of asking a question that I know you can't answer, is there development that's still active on those models?
Yeah, for sure. And there's a stack up of quality of life improvements, little tweaks that should end up out in the release stuff. Just so much of this happens with a big group where the pace of things happening all relies on people's personal time and motivation, you know. So the whole group is on a volunteer basis still. So anything that happens tends to move a little slow.
I can imagine, yeah.
But there are tweaks, definitely. That it's just kind of as a critical mass of those builds up, they'll get rolled into some sort of release.
Yeah, and it seems like there's probably a lot of things where we're always thinking, well, like, gosh, these new idlers are so nice. Why can't they should just throw these on there? And I'm assuming there is a lot of that, and I'm assuming there is some of the mod that comes through. I mean, we saw it with you know, I think we saw it with the like the V2. I think that the Trident, I mean, some of the updates were things that had been community generated, but I imagine there's a lot of other work that is just not appreciated. Like you have to do a new manual and like, you know, all of these things that are never fun. And it's a lot more challenging than saying, I'm going to print some new parts and see if this works better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Aaron's asking a question about Stealth Burner over Afterburner. I think some of that work has already been started. I think the latest manuals out there have some tweaks to them to try to highlight Stealth Burner in them. But
yeah, one of the things that And I don't know if it's gotten better. I don't do with the printed part stuff as much anymore. That's actually mostly Aaron. But one of the things that we had to continually discuss was, what clockwork and the difference between clockwork 1 and 2 and how that's not stealth burner, or um, that was very challenging. And I
Yeah.
think at least now we can say there's more standardized. All the kits are coming with basically the same, hardware and things like that. But I'm sure there's lessons that will be uh, carried over.
Yeah.
Is there any development on new tool heads that would change or
No.
replace stealth burner? Okay.
No.
I hadn't heard anything, and I actually it's incredible to see how prolific some of the Voron stuff is. Where you're seeing that tool head on just about any printer now,
Yeah, it's
and
amazing.
like I just did a E3D training for some new products that they're talking about, and stealth burner is one of the supported. They only have like 4 supported options, and it's like Prusa and then the Voron stealth burner, and it's like, wow, like you guys have made it. It's
Yeah.
it's crazy.
Well, there's a Revo Voron out there.
Yeah, it's
It's a little surreal.
It's incredible. Someone did ask, what's the state of Switchwire development? Is there any? I haven't heard of any real work on that.
It's the same situation. There's a stack up of improvements that the thing about Switchwire, and I'll talk about it a little bit,
Okay.
is really if we're going to do a major revision on Switchwire, it needs to support tap, and tap puts pressure on the bed plate, and coming up with a solution that fits within the ethos of the design, right? You want to stay within a cost, you want to stay within readily available parts, an upgrade path. Finding that solution has been challenging, and there's been little spurts of work on it, but nothing that would be imminent. It's a tough solution, or a tough problem to crack, making that bed assembly stiff enough to be able to use tap. What we really want is, like Bad Noob's whole goal is to make tap obsolete. What we really want is the next solution, whatever's coming next.
Yeah.
Not saying that there is one, or that there's a viable anything, but that something that has less nozzle pressure would be the solution there and make things a whole lot easier. Although I love my taps. I run tap on 3 or 4 of my Vorons.
Is that your probe of choice right now?
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah, I mean, I can see that on the Switchwire. I'm wondering too. I mean, that is actually one of the models, because I think there's so many people that have bed slingers that have tried to, worked on conversions. That I'm wondering if that's something the community has basically taken and ran with it in a very positive way. I mean, there's some great conversions out there that I wouldn't say I don't think you would call a Switchwire, but there's something else community driven from that. So I don't know. We do have someone mentioned LDO did a refresh for the Switchwire, and so those should actually be coming here. They just shipped to us.
Yeah.
So I am looking forward to it. We did not ever carry the LDO Switchwire like the original. So yeah, it'll be interesting. I'm not sure it's gonna make it into like our little printer area. We do have a Switchwire that needs a little bit of work. But I'm excited for it. It'll be a nice refresh, it looks like.
Yeah, I'll end up building one on a upcoming stream.
Oh, really cool. Okay, then I'll wait.
Release.
If I ever build one, I'll wait to to copy your stream.
We finally gave away the first one I built. It was the third major thing I think I did on my stream, is we built a Switchwire and tried to do it in one sitting. I don't know if I'm undecided if I want to try to attempt that again for this new one. it would be easier because it has that Nighthawk or whatever they call it toolhead board.
The new Nighthawk board.
But the giving that printer away at Orange County Maker Faire was a lot of fun. It ended up going to a young couple of kids and their family, and I was grateful to hear that they had actually already had a printer at home, so they had some familiarity with the technology.
That's awesome. So Steve, you've done a lot of events this year too. Is this like, is this your first year doing, like, I mean, you've done the rep events, but now you've done a whole bunch of maker fairs and other things. Open Sauce you were at. Yeah. Is this your breakout year for that?
This is the year. I'm just going for it. I'm having fun meeting the people and getting to see them again. You know, you meet someone at an event and then getting to see them again at the next one is a lot of fun. I'm so looking forward to Rocky Mountain because that seems to be the event that the Voron crew comes out to play.
Yeah. So. That was an amazing experience. And so, yeah, people on stream, if you want to meet people on the Voron design team, at least last year, and they've said that this year they plan to be, have it be the same, but they came out in droves. There was a whole bunch of people that you only get to see on Discord or, hear talked about. It was really, really cool. So if you can make it to Rocky Mountain, that's the event to be at, I think.
Yeah, for sure.
I am curious, so of the other events that weren't rep events, were there any real highlights or one that you say other people should think about going to?
Open Sauce was awesome. So location was its own challenge, but
that's in San Francisco.
Yeah. Open Sauce was really good. It was great for me. I saw it was really the first experience. It's more like a maker fair than a rep festival. So at a rep festival, you stand there, and my perspective from the Voron booth, you're talking to people that have some idea what you're doing. They're asking specific questions. At a maker fair, you're explaining 3D printing from the ground up to everybody. But so there was a lot. There was a good mix at Open Sauce. There was a lot of people who had heard about Voron and came up and wanted to know more. There was people who had no idea what 3D printing was and wanted to know what was going on there. And then there were the people that had the experience and were asking specific questions. But it was also cool seeing some of the Open Sauce being the event it was, had some of the international content creators that Angus Maker's Muse was a highlight to me. That he was phenomenally nice, and Tom Stanton, and James Bruden, and Practical Engineering, and there were so many creators there that to have the opportunity to meet. So that was a lot of fun. But it was the first event that kind of showed me personally what's the difference between a rep festival and some of these other events. And they're both fun. They're both, I really enjoyed Orange County Maker Faire. It was definitely one of those you're talking to people from the ground level up type events. So
yeah, we actually this year we did do quite a few events, and we ended up doing a Maker Faire. It was the Oregon Maker Faire, and we did the State Fair. And it's one of those things, like the rep, I feel like you need to be there, if you're in industry, to be basically relevant. I mean, you're going to get a lot of people that are, again, yes, the 3D printing enthusiasts. You leave the maker fairs, at least I have, just feeling like happy that you imparted some of your knowledge on others, right? You get kids that are like telling, hey mom, look, this is, the kind of 3D printer I was telling you about they have at school, that kind of stuff, where it's like, I would spend, a whole week talking to kids about 3D printing. It just makes you happy when you leave. If you guys have the opportunity to, people on the stream, to do something like that, highly recommend it. It is really, really nice. And I think a lot of those maker fairs, I went to the Central Oregon one, and like that one would be something that they could have used some support, I think. But there were people, that would would have been, very interested.
Mhm.
I also want to second that. Open Sauce was awesome. If you can go, please go.
Yeah, Hudson was over there repping Protopasta. And actually, like Angus ended up doing the Protopasta event, I think the week after Open Sauce. So,
Right.
yeah, that was really cool. If there's anybody local to the Pacific Northwest, at least once a year, Protopasta does this like giveaway event. Joel Telling's there and gives away usually some of his 3D printers. The community all donates stuff, and they raffle it off, and it's all for charity. It's a fantastic thing. And yeah, this year we had some celebrities show up other than Joel. It was a good time. So if anyone's local to the Pacific Northwest, definitely look into that. You can reach out to us and we can give you the information. But
one day I'm going to get up there. I have some friends in Washington that I wouldn't mind seeing.
We got Heart K over there too, right? Can he just roll out a
Yep, and
air mattress?
Is up there.
Yeah, yeah, I would love. I mean, if you ever do make it out there, I would love to I'll drive up there. It's a couple hours probably, but it would be nice to be able to sit down again.
If I go up there, I'm driving, so I'll drive through.
Sweet. Oh well, then it's just on your way. We'll make sure you stop by at lunchtime.
Yep.
That's awesome. But yeah, you definitely should. Someone was asking about Marv. Okay. I will also I can keep talking if I don't like make myself stop. So Hudson or Alan, if you have questions, please.
Yeah, I got a question.
Yeah.
What was your favorite and least favorite build?
My favorite build. That's a good question. All of the builds have been great. What has been my favorite build? Is on stream or?
Yeah, your favorite to build on stream and your least favorite to build on stream.
I think some of the early, like the 2.4 I did was a lot of fun, kind of because that was really the channel started kind of an upward swing there. What's my least favorite build? What one did I don't know. That's I don't know what my least favorite build is. You put me on the spot.
Have there been any builds that you, or I'm assuming now that you have also a fairly large presence, you get a lot more people reaching out to you that are looking to have you build things for marketing purposes. Is that true? First, I'll stop there.
I don't get a ton. I get a few. I get a few, and the tough ones are people in some level in the community who may want something done or whatever. But often it's something I've covered a few times. Like, I'd love to, because so much of this isn't about the build as much. It's about interacting with the viewers and the vendors. I mean, we have such good. I want to support so many of the vendors. I don't latch myself onto any one vendor for a reason, because I'm not in. It's all about the builds. I would be doing some level of it without that.
So I guess it sounds like you sort of plan for and you build things that you want to build. So maybe that's also why it's hard to say what was your least favorite. But my side question
that's a good point. That's a good point, because everything, a lot of builds I do is I'll mention, hey, that sounds like a fun build type thing, and that's where it comes from. Or like Salad Fork, that was a self-source build that I wanted to build that, And then the other ones, when it comes, most of what's come to me, it's like, ooh, that sounds fun.
Yeah.
Although someone did bring up maybe the rebuild of the doomed trident. That
one is yet to happen.
Oh,
so it's still sitting in its flight case, disassembled.
We'll
I
have to
have
find you. We'll have to find something that you just I would want to see you start building something and just stop and be like, why? Like this is crap.
the
Um,
there's a lot of things I'll work on or look at. I've looked at projects wanting to it sounds exciting and get into, and I'm not going to call out any specifics here
hmm.
because I'll look at the source of the GitHub and I'll hit a point where it's like I've checked too many boxes that are going to frustrate me, so I'll move on.
What projects are sort of on your like on your agenda? Those things that you said, oh, that would be cool. I want to do that.
Building the positron kit because
Okay.
that's one of those things where I was excited about. I'm still excited about positron. It's such a
And this
cool
is the
concept.
new, this is the newest version or newest
Yeah,
release candidate.
yeah. Well, when the kit comes is when I'll end up building one.
Okay.
But originally, when I was talking to Jason and whatever, when they said they were going to build a positron kit, I'm like, I'm on board. I want
Yeah.
to cover this
Yeah.
because it sounds fun. And all the way up until me receiving it and opening it up and realizing this is assembled. I thought
Yeah.
I was I thought I
You
was
didn't
getting
build
a kit.
anything. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm excited to actually get the kit when
Although
that comes and doing that build.
you have a lot more experience than I do, but I do remember it comes assembled. It only takes, it took me maybe 10, 15 minutes to figure out because there wasn't a manual, right? So you're like,
Mhm.
okay, I got to move this little arm to tension the belt. And so, I mean, there was like these little things, but um, it took me a lot longer to get it to print in like a sort of acceptable way. And it seems like now they've been doing they've listened to the people that have used it. They've listened to the community. I know they're changing to a better motion or new motion system. They're getting rid of the synchro mesh. There's a lot of really cool things that they've already announced that they're working on. That will be one I'm very excited to actually have up and show people. We took it to the fair. It was something that people that don't even know about 3D printers was like, oh, it looks different. Like you just know it's
Mhm.
something different and they're interested. It's a cool printer.
Yeah, it definitely has its pluses and minuses, but the biggest plus is it's eye-catching. It's actually different.
Yeah. And that little case that they come in, I think
Oh
it's
yeah.
so awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
LDO went a bit over the top on that thing. It is, I mean, all laser cut spots for
Mhm.
everything and a Pelican style case. Yeah.
Yeah, that's certainly one that I'm interested in and I will buy for myself the new version. Um, that's exciting. There's one printer I was kind of curious if you saw or you're curious about. We actually may end up carrying a kit, and if we do and you're interested in it, I'm happy to send you one. Did you see the baby belt printer at Earth?
Is that the one with the little cloth belts?
Yeah,
If there's a kit for that, I am
I'm
interested.
making it. We're making a kit.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, the guy that runs the project or whatever reached out to us to see if we would do that for him at the event. And yeah, it totally looks like a fun STEM project. The parts are very simple. It doesn't take a lot. The
Yeah.
only weird thing on the bomb is it's got NEMA 11s and it uses like the Revo the nozzle for the belt printers. So I mean, there's like a couple things that are just maybe a little oddities, but um, that looks like a cool one. So I'm working on it. If we get a kit, I'll send you one because
Something happens, let me know because
I
that is
will.
interesting. I have a fondness for the smaller printers, mostly because I can fit more of them.
It's just super cool. I really like the printers that are just different. That one if it works well, the nice thing is the build plate is really small. It actually is a V0 build plate. But just because you have sort of that infinite access or axes, you can do something, yeah, like those drag racers. You could print a full drag racer one piece on that still. So I mean, there's still just some really cool applications. And the price is also fantastic. It's kind of like the Rook, where you can get this thing for less than $300 and you can be printing with it. So that's the one I have my eye on. Sorry, I have avoided questions here. We got some about TV.
There's a lot of talk about being old in the
Oh,
chat
no.
right now.
I'm not as old as I look.
Not you.
I'd have to say, Shammy's not as old as he looks either.
Oh, hey, Shammy, I didn't know you were on here. I'm glad to see you. If you guys don't know, but Shammy is running XR Bunker, and it's a fantastic site. If you want to pick up basically anything on your, anything PCB related, he's got like all of it, and his catalog continues to grow. I struggle to keep up. So if you have not checked it out, check it out. He does post sales also on the vendor promotions every once in a while. So check it out. He's an awesome community member. And someone's asking about snake oil kits. So we should show next time. We actually have it's on Airtable, but it's a list basically that we let community members say, hey, this is something you guys need to start stocking on your site. And we use that. And basically every time we do a big purchasing run, we look at that list and we start putting things together. The thing about most 3D printer kits and mod kits, as we've grown and as we've added more stuff to our inventory, the things that we have to source that are new continue to get less and less. So it becomes a lot easier. It's more of just a time issue. We've got micron kits we have 50 micron kits in our warehouse that we still have to piece together some parts. And it's like, we could sell them, but we don't have the time to put them together. So it's the challenge we face. But if you want something like that, do fill it in there and put your contact info, because I'll reach out. And it's something that, that's what we do. So.
Yeah, hate to do it this way, but Aaron, if you can you grab that Airtable link and just post it in the chat? I would do it, but I'm always afraid if I touch anything, then windows are going to start flying around, and private chat is going to wind up on the stream, and hilarity ensues.
Was it you, Alan? Somebody shared one of the answers to the trivia questions, one of those streams.
Yeah, because the chat was automatically popping up. Currently, we do these by I'm capturing a monitor that has my Zoom window, and yeah, that was not great. So
so Steve, someone asked if you've done any updates to your Tridex.
I have recently done all the firmware updates. I have not done any hardware updates, but I've been troubleshooting. If anybody remembers from the build series, it was shifting X when Y homes. So I'm still working on troubleshooting that. I'm not spending a ton of time on it, but it is one of those things I kind of poke at every once in a while as I'm cycling through the different projects that are going on. I have a big desire to get Tridex up and running as a reliable, but there were recently some pretty major changes to the macros and stuff that I need to get caught up on. I did change out both of the tool headboards because the Mellow V2 at least reports is running way cooler than the V1 on the CAN tool headboard. So, and I had those two that blew. I was able to fix them, but the capacitors blew on them. So I put the V2s in there instead, which those capacitors just don't exist on anymore.
This might be a good time since we're halfway through. Do we want to do some trivia, or we can do the V0? I mean, if some people are waiting for us to announce who won the V0 kit, I'm happy to do it so you guys don't have to hang on for the other hour. What do you guys think? Alan, I'm leaving it to you.
We can do that if you want. I don't know if you got my message earlier that I redid that sheet in info.
Yes, I got that. Okay.
Okay. So
Whew, okay.
we're gonna be picking from a generic number instead of calling out the order numbers.
Let me pull that sheet up.
Okay.
If you Why don't we do some trivia? So we've got a couple things this stream that we want to give away. One thing is, and some people that have been on the channel know that we had way too much fun, and I'm going to try to show this, but we've I discovered, and I guess it's been around for a long time, the AI image generation thing. And so like we posted on our Twitter and Facebook and stuff, this little sort of teaser announcement. I don't know if you guys can see that, but it's like our berserker guy eating a bowl of filaments, and it says now available at West 3D. So it's we just launched a new brand of filaments. It is going to be its own sort of independent company, but because we are here, we're going to be sort of the first ones to distribute it. So we have some ambrosia to give away. So I'm wondering if we want to maybe do some raffles for some filament first. The other cool thing, because we had struggled so much with Village Plastics lately, and it is unfortunate. I think they were a fantastic partner for us. They make good quality filament. I don't think that's changed. Some of their quality control just had not been up to par the last year and a half, 2 years, I would say. So it's been a while, sort of a long time coming. We have, and we do partner with 3D Print Life. They've had some changes recently also, but that never took off the same way that Village Plastics did. So we worked with Doc and back and forth for a little bit, but we now have an official Voron Red. So we went through, we did all the color testing, made sure it was had the proper fluorescence and all of that stuff, and have something now that is official. We can use the term Voron Red, so we're going to give away some Voron Red filament, I think. And with this, I also want to be able to take your guys' feedback and suggestions over time, because we have control over a line of filaments, so we can make custom colors and things like that. So a lot of new exciting stuff will be coming out. But for the trivia, while I'm getting that sheet up, Alan, maybe we can start giving away some ambrosia.
And how would you like to do that?
Do we have trivia questions? Steve, do you have any trivia questions? Did we ask you for any?
I came up with a few.
Yes. Sweet. Steve,
we'll see how they go.
Go through your trivia.
Before we do that, I just saw something come up because Morton is asking a couple questions. The galactic black that we're doing, which is our sparkly ASA, that makes KVP sparkly black look gray. It is dark. We're also doing a sparkly blue. We've got stuff up on the website, right, Daniel?
Yes.
So if you check out the ambrosia products at west3d.com, you'll be able to see some examples of the spools there. We will have printed models soon. So as soon as we finalize what the model we want to use is, we'll get those photographed and get those out there so that you can see what it looks like. But there are none more black than that black. So
there were a couple questions for the Voron Res at UV reactive, and yes, it is. There was another question. So we are doing, the Voron Red is ASA. We will make an ABS Voron Red also. Again, we had to go back and forth with Doc, and it was like it was just better for us to try one first. until we knew we had something that worked. We really are trying to push ASA. It's one of those things in the market where the price of ASA, I think, is just very high, without a lot of justification for it that I could see. So ASA will be our main filament line, and it will be in a very competitive price point. It does mean that it's not going to be that much more expensive than ABS, or ABS isn't going to be that much less. So if you guys see the ASA, know that the ABS is only going to be like $1 or $2 less. But that is our big push. So yeah, why don't Steve, let's go ahead and if you have any trivia questions, let's go ahead and do that.
Yeah, how many am I gonna get to ask? Because I probably have a few.
Why don't we
I gotta think of which ones are gonna be the best.
Well, so I wanted to give out about 5 spools of ambrosia. I have, but we can come up with trivia too. I want to give, which by the way, these are now printed on ambrosia filament, but the stuff that PF does, the little tension meters, these we're going to give away. I would like to give away one on the stream also. This is my camera is definitely not color calibrated. Oh, sweet. Awesome. So the green on this one is the West 3D green. And then the black is ambrosia black. This one is actually also a signed tension meter by PF. So we'll be giving away one of those. Also, we've got, we're giving away one of the West 3D Licious hot sauce by Pex Peppers. And I think that's it. I did want to shout out Pex for making a caramel applesauce flavored hot sauce to continue with the with our theme. It is a very different sauce, but Pex, I do think we need to make this. It's good, and I tried on chicken tacos, and the apple is fantastic. It's not sweet. It doesn't taste like our pops, but it is awesome. And it's vinegar free, apparently, which is a big deal. I don't know anything about that, but apparently that's a big deal.
And a question has been asked, are these giveaways worldwide?
Pex, I'm not sure for the hot sauce if that's a worldwide giveaway. The filament I'm happy to send. The meter I'm happy to send too. So I'd say everything but the hot sauce is probably pretty safe. Do know that the only issue may be if you have any taxes or duties, but I'm happy to pay as much as it costs to ship it to you.
Okay.
See?
So, Steve, you may fire when ready.
I can do. So I can start with one. First of all, I have printed with the ambrosia black, and it is very dark. So I can confirm. The first question is going to be, and we'll do a Charlie themed one for the first one.
Oh,
so
cool.
Charlie had a sibling cat. What was special about Lola?
And we are going to look awkward for a couple seconds because there's a delay on the YouTube chat.
Yep.
So
there we go. Patrick got it.
Awesome. So Lola was
we got a lot of people who paid attention. That's awesome.
So Patrick, if you can reach out to info@west3d.com and just let us know that you were the winner for the first one. We will do ambrosia filament, and actually I said the Voron red. We can do any color that we have or any type we have. It's up to you. So just let us know what you would like.
She also liked a vacuum cleaner, yes. Partially because she was deaf.
Oh yeah. She just probably feels the vibration and
loved it. I have a video.
Awesome. Do you have another one, Steve?
Oh, we want to just shotgun them?
You'll give Hudson's next. So you'll give him just an extra minute to think of one.
An extra minute? Okay.
Ooh,
So I'm gonna do a West 3D based one. So back in May of 2022, I placed my first order with West 3D. There was a few items on that order, and the catalog was not as diverse as it is now. Name one of the things I ordered on that first order. This one would be a little more difficult. Lots of guesses. And I did use this on a stream. At least a couple of these things I used on a stream.
That's probably a hint right there.
I'm gonna let a few more guesses come in, but it's already been guessed.
Okay, I'll stop trying to look it up then.
Let's see if anybody else got it.
A lot of people are saying belts. That's interesting.
I didn't order belts.
No, we're special for belts. And I would think if you do a lot of builds, my guess is that you sort of always have 20 to 50 meters of belts around. Is that accurate?
I have a box of timing belts, yes.
Oh, no. We didn't have ACM panels in May. Would have been a lot less extensive. I would have thought we would. We probably maybe had Berserker rails. I don't even think we would have had that yet. Because if it was May 22, we'd been around for 6 months. So if we did, it would have been like right then. We definitely would have had screws. Anybody get it?
Well, oh yeah. People,
okay.
People got it. Someone, I mean, the second guess got it.
Dual head PCB?
Yeah. The what is the Mueller?
The pancake board.
Yeah. I ordered that because I wanted to try it. That was the whole reason. I ended up using it on the solid fork build. The other guesses were I also ordered a V0 NEMA 14 round stepper motor, and I bought a rainbow LED and some PTFE tubing.
So I will say and it would have, I mean, certainly would have still been around this time, but I used to get like really excited when I saw people that I knew like on other things like purchase. I was like, I would have packed this order in my garage, like it would have been like the coolest thing. Probably would have told my wife. So thank you. That's awesome. So was that Yeri then?
It was.
Yeri, sweet. Reach out to us and let us know what kind of filament you want. Just check out the website, type in Ambrosia and anything that we have there. We are somewhat limited as far as like what we're stocking on this first batch. So take a look and let us know what colors and stuff you want. Hudson, you have a question? The trivia?
Yeah, I have a question that he stated earlier, and that is, what month did Steve say he started streaming?
I know this.
Might be a trick question. Hey, Neriku.
So it's Susan, right? She got it right?
Looks like Susan got it right.
Well,
Oh.
no, because it was actually August 31st was the first stream.
Ooh.
And I
okay,
said that.
So then Clinton got it. Wow, that was on the.
It was uploaded to YouTube, but the first stream was in August.
How about we give it to both? Because I think I think you said September. It was like when it was. So let's do both. So Susan and Clinton, just reach out, info@west3d. Let us know what you want, and we will send you a spool. Let's do. Okay, let's do the V0 thing. I feel like people might be waiting on that. So let's go ahead and I said I was going to pull up that sheet. I did not, but I can do it as we're talking.
Okay, well, let's move on over to the wheel.
Sandy said there was also the Discord stream in July of a V0 assembly. That was a 1-day thing, but I wouldn't say I'd started streaming. That was kind of a Discord build. That never got published also, so I wouldn't say that counts. The reason is I did not record one whole side of the audio. So it's all me talking and answering, interacting with people, but only my side of the audio.
Nice.
Oh, wow. Well, at least it was that side of the audio. It would have, it would be pretty fun if you wanted to take that and just dub in whatever you think the other people were saying.
That sounds like work.
I bet you if you sent it to somebody would totally dub that for you.
It was all on a GoPro.
Oh, really? Okay.
Nice.
So you upgraded your equipment too. What
Oh yeah.
Questions after we do the giveaway. But
Well, then fine. Are we going to keep talking or are we going to do the wheel?
no, let's do the giveaway.
I'm
sorry, I can talk forever. I'm the worst.
All right. So, Steve, you get to be the randomizer. Give me a number between 1 and 10.
1 and 10. I'm gonna do like my audience does and say 42 or 69, but I'll go with 7.
All right. So now I gotta find. There's the button. So we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, we have been randomized 7 times. Are we ready to spin? Daniel.
Let's do it.
The V0 is spinning, and the winner is 766.
766?
766 is the winner.
766. Okay. So it would have been order 20794. So you guys can all check your emails. I will
This is based on orders.
Yeah.
Is that how it works? Yeah.
Orders or
okay. I know who this is.
There you did have the ability to write in and request an entry.
Yeah, and last year we actually had 2 or 3 write-ins. This year we did not. So yeah. Next year we'll figure out another way to do this. No, so this person actually ordered 5 times. So just I'll reach out to you on one of your order things, but they were a prolific orderer this month, it looks like. For anybody on the stream, it was 1 per customer, so they only had 1 entry, but they happened to be a prolific customer this time. So congratulations to, I'm not going to say your name, but person 766, we will be reaching out to you. And no, it's not Thunder Keys, who happens to win like every giveaway, it seems like, that's entered. Yeah, so we can go ahead, let's keep asking some just talking, having some questions. We'll give away the hot sauce and the PF meter and another spool of ambrosia sort of before we sign off at 7. So I feel like I just had a question for you and I was like, I'm gonna ask after. Yeah, so you started with a GoPro.
Oh yeah.
What's your setup looking like now? I'm sure it's like quite a bit more advanced and more expensive than a GoPro now.
Yeah, well, early on I wanted something, and in fall of 2021, cameras were not as they had gone up in price. It wasn't quite as easy to get a hold of the desirable cameras. I ended up right there around Thanksgiving time, or was it before? It might have been before or after Black Friday, somewhere around there. I ordered a Sony A6400 just based on reviews, and I'm still using it. That's the camera that comes over from my shoulder. So the A6400 was the main camera. I switched over to main camera, and then I was using I don't know if I still tried using the GoPro. There was a lot of weird problems with my setup early on. I had some camera disconnect issues and all that kind of stuff with cam links. And I think I've finally stabilized all of that the last quite a few months. I've had a pretty stable stream for a good while now. I moved over from a laptop. I used to stream off a laptop. A laptop with a Thunderbolt dock is a Dell laptop with a Thunderbolt 3 dock. And weird, like I couldn't run 2 Camlink 4Ks, even though you're supposed to be able to. And so then I threw in the card, the PCI Express card with 4 inputs into an external Thunderbolt enclosure. I'm streaming with that for a while, but I do use OBS, Vex Peppers. So I got the 6400, and then very shortly after that, I got gifted a Sony ZV-1, which is their little blog camera. That's actually what's pointed at me right now.
Yeah,
me too.
And it's, huh?
Me too.
So it's looking really fabulous. I was going to use my main face camera, but a couple of streams ago, people noticed that my background was shifting, and I couldn't get rid of that. I was playing with settings before, and I couldn't get rid of it. So the ZV-1 is doing the trick, and I've got it on a little tripod in front of me here. And that was my setup.
Is it 3 cameras in total? They're using.
Well, I don't use the GoPro anymore. So I have the A6400, I have the ZV-1, and then I was using those 2 along with a Logitech webcam for a long time. And then I don't know, a year ago or so, I ordered the ZV-E10, which shares a lens with the 6400 is one reason I bought it. And that's the one that's actually giving me trouble right now, the one with the shifting background. So if anybody knows what might cause that, I'm open. I'm open to suggestions. But so that's the 3 camera setup. Is they're all Sony's, ZV-E10, ZV-1, and the A6400.
And so those are the A6400. I'm guessing is a DSLR, and the other one's like blog camera kind of thing.
The ZV-1 is like a vlogger camera. The A6400 and the ZV-E10 are both, what do they call them, micro four thirds or something.
Okay, yeah.
But those both have removable lens, and they share the same setup. The ZV-1 is a integrated lens with the zoom. That's the one that I usually use for an overhead. That way I can just reach up and toggle the zoom to.
Do you have? I'm guessing you have lighting and everything as well.
My light, I've got a couple of LED panels. I got one above me and one in front of me.
Okay.
And then I have just LED lights in the garage. Actually, I have my panels off right now. I've got the better lighting with just the overhead. In this dark background, changed things quite a bit. This is just a blanket draped over a big thing.
It looks like it's kind of textured. Like you've got.
It's like a felt. It's like a felty blanket. I just threw it together like an hour before stream.
Hey, it's a good background. No, that's.
I'm reasonably happy with my setup. Have you seen my overhead camera setup?
I don't think so.
I don't know if I can easily show this. My overhead camera setup is very interesting. Maybe I can just grab the webcam and let's see what.
Since you moved, I can definitely now tell it's a blanket that's behind you. When it's focused on you, it looks wow. Okay.
I've got all the wood clamps holding some extrusion, and this is where the camera normally mounts.
Mm-hmm.
And
that's awesome. Those are just 2020
a shelf. Yeah.
How long is that one that's pulling off from the shelf?
Those are 6 foot, 6 or 8 foot extrusions. Masumi had a sale.
That's awesome.
Masumi. Oops, that's not what I wanted. Uh-oh,
oh boy,
which one was I using? I don't know what camera I was using. That one. There we
go.
Sony.
Only the finest Irwin wood clamps.
Oh, that's
And
that's an interesting
I
set.
set this up for the Pooch Trident build, and nothing's more permanent than a temporary solution that works, right?
Is it pretty sturdy? Like if you bumped it, you're not going to worry about anything falling down?
I've never had it fall during camera, but it used to be one of the clamps up top would come loose and the whole thing would fall down. It stopped before it actually hit the camera on anything. But now I've got it more securely clamped.
Have there been any Steve bloopers?
No, I don't think so.
Oh wow. So you've run for for 2 years and haven't had something fall on your head or anything yet?
I've had Charlie disconnect Thunderbolt cables.
Oh, that's a blooper. That's still pretty impressive though.
Yeah, ever since I actually subscribed to a dedicated ISP for streaming. Ever since I did that and I switched to a desktop for my streaming rig, I've had fairly stable. Oh, there's the blooper in H3D. So the big blooper that happened on my stream is I was working on something. I don't remember what stream it was. And suddenly people were popping up in chat, usually mostly Steve's, as moderators. They would be chatting 1 minute and then they were a moderator the next. And I'm like, what in the world would cause that? Right? I'm streaming and there's people that are becoming moderators as I'm working on this build. I'm not doing it, so it must be someone else. So there's a little panic moment there, and ended up being my phone was in my pocket. And apparently I got the "you're going live" notification, and my pocket hit just the right spot to open YouTube Studio. And then while that was open and unlocked in my pocket, it was clicking just the right spots to promote people to moderator.
That's so awesome.
What are the chances?
I hope you had a very well-behaved audience that didn't take that power,
Oh, I have the best audience. They didn't even think about doing anything.
That's awesome. That is a pretty good one.
That I had almost forgotten about that. I'm glad someone reminded me.
Oh, that's fantastic.
So now that it's often asked where my phone is, and
I mean, it seems like, every time I'm on there, I do see you have a very engaged audience. As you start seeing more and more subscribers come on, I guess I'm gonna change the question. So the people that started watching 2 years ago, are you still seeing a lot of those same people, or are you getting a mix of a lot of new people?
I am. There are a lot of new people, but there are a whole group of people who have been there since the beginning.
That's awesome.
I mean, Nathan here. I think Nathan was my very first super chat.
Oh, really?
Yeah. When I monetized the channel.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's awesome. Somebody was commenting also. It looks like Alan, you've got the setup that keep it up. So Alan used to be like, his job was to do AV stuff. And that's all I did, I think. So he definitely knows what he's doing.
Yeah, years as a stagehand. And someone else, I think it was Are You Kidding, was mentioning my voice earlier, saying, why am I not working in radio? And at one point that actually was the plan. It was either I had the option for a summer internship to either go into a professional theater company or to be an intern at the National Public Radio station in Cleveland, which was where I was going to school. And for some reason I chose theater. But hey, that eventually led me here. So,
well, and that's why you have the nice setup. If you did radio, maybe you wouldn't have.
Well, and also
you've still got the voice. You haven't lost the voice.
Well, Thank you. But yeah, before it was before I started working at West 3D, I was also doing podcasting. So kind of upped my home voiceover rig a little bit.
Nathan did say on that mod the moderator thing, maybe someone did get banned and we just don't know.
No, because YouTube has a list. I have a
Okay.
list of who's banned from the channel. So I can confirm that nobody was banned.
Nice.
Yeah, so I monetized the channel, I think, shortly after hitting 1,000 subscribers, but I waited a long time before I enabled memberships. So
How long did it take you to get to 1,000?
Well, the thing that pushed me over was the stealth burner. No, was it tap or stealth burner? Early look at stealth burner, I think, was what it was. Yeah.
Okay.
It was a stealth burner stream. It was like the first weekend in December. I gained like 200 subscribers or something on that.
Okay.
On
So I
that
mean,
stream.
that wasn't too long. So it took you 3-4 months.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I hit 2,000 subscribers on Christmas Eve.
Oh wow!
So
So
it was
I mean,
a huge jump.
The growth
from
yeah.
there. Yeah.
Well, and I mean, I assume things like stealth burner would have been huge. Tap. I mean, those are the things that when they come out, people are really interested in. And it is cool. I mean, to be able to follow somebody that is either has done the build or has at least had some early looks, has some history and can talk about it. I think there's a lot of value there. Yeah, that's awesome. Alan or Hudson, do you guys have any other questions?
Trivia or otherwise?
Oh, just other. I'm thinking we'll hold the trivia until about 6:45.
Okay. Oh boy. Let's see. What can we talk about? Well, I don't want to go farther down the streaming babble. What gear are we using route? Because that's probably boring for people. Someone's saying Saturday's Powerball numbers.
So, I mean, one of the things I know you mentioned, you want to take a little bit more look, I guess, at the salad fork. I know you have one. Someone mentioned the salad fork 180. Obviously Trident, I mean, I think people associate you with the Trident. What are there other printers that you haven't mentioned that you've kind of had your eye on that maybe other people might be interested in looking at?
Looking at as far as
the non-Voron stuff, just any other printers?
Other things that are good builds?
Yeah.
I mean, some of the builds that aren't Voron that I've had the most fun with are the Mercury one. That's a great build with the Hydra setup and all that. That's a printer that I'm continuing to use. It's pretty much when I need to print, it's either that or the Mark IV. I throw PETG and PLA at because I left the Mercury One open air. Any of the little tweaks or issues I've had with it have had nothing to do with the printer design. I had a little hot end issue, and I've had the one of the easy drivers saying it's overheating and caused a couple of errors. But the printer itself has been a blast. I really like the Enderwire. The first version Enderwire I actually like better than the second one. Just unless you want to enclose it, the first one is just a little more compact of a machine, and I gave that to a local friend who I don't think has actually started using it yet, but that's partially my fault too, trying to get over there and show him how.
So someone new to 3D printing then?
Huh?
Is it someone new to 3D printing then?
Yeah, but they're super. I mean, they are a builder. They are absolutely a very long time friend. Very good at making things. So some of the other things I think someone's kind of touching on here, plans for non-printer builds. I'm really enjoying some of the projects, some of the side projects, some of the RC stuff. the building. I like there's a whole realm of 3D printing or making projects that I've always wanted to get to. Like something I haven't gotten to yet, but I want to, is some sort of drone build. I'd like to do a drone. I always wanted to do some RC stuff, and we did the 3D sets buggy on a stream. The Nerf blaster, the foam dart blaster stuff has been a real kick.
Yeah.
I still have a couple of kits that I've got parts printed for that I need to build. I don't know that they'll end up being on stream because there's only so much of that I can fit in. But some of the 3D printing enabled other non 3D printer projects are something that I'm always on the lookout for, to kind of put these to use, because I mean, so much of what I do is print 3D printer parts. So
Yeah.
having something.
So in regards to non 3D printer, but 3D printer adjacent builds, I saw that you have worked with some CNC machines. Is there any plans to do anything with like the mostly printed CNC machines in the future or anything like that? Because I would love it, because I have one in my basement right now that I need to put together. So,
I built a MP-CNC.
Okay.
I built both. I built both the Burley and then updated it to a Primo, and used it. I was making panels and stuff, and I needed something I wanted something a little more capable. So I gave it to a coworker, and he's still using it. He's done some awesome things. He made little the Pinewood Derby cars for his kids with it and stuff. So, but I ended up purchasing, because at the time I wanted a capable tool. I didn't want a project. So I purchased a Shapeoko Pro XXL, and that's behind me over here. And that turned into a project because I needed somewhere to put it. And so I spent way too much time building a table for it. And I'm just now getting to the point where it's turning into a tool. I cut this on it, the bottom panel
cool.
for my V0. I cut on it, and it's going to see a lot more work here pretty soon. But I wanted something that I could also do aluminum in and stuff like that. So there are some plans to have some non 3D printer CNC type content coming up.
Working on any other freshly designed CNC machines that might be seeing the light of day sometime soon?
I have no idea what you're talking about. There's a couple of different projects out there, and I might get involved in a couple of them. So, yeah.
Yeah, those other projects, the RC is actually what got me, like, after I start, because when I first got 3D printer, I was just printing, you go to Thingiverse or whatever, and you just print all of the kind of whatever is popular, and it's fun, but I mean, you don't really, the first application I really had was the RC stuff, and that's a bunch of fun. I still have, I think I took it home, but it's called Tarmo. I was a Tarmo 4. I think now they probably have newer models, but it's a 3.4S, I think, RC car that just, I mean, it flies, 45 miles an hour, whatever with it. And it's sweet because, yeah, I mean, most of it's 3D printed. Even the little, the axle's 3D printed. It's made in TPU, or the drive shaft thing is TPU. So yeah, I mean, you break something, you easily repair it. It's fun. You guys, I think it was at Murph. But yeah, you guys with those dart blasters. So I was like, that's the next project.
That was a lot of fun.
I actually took one home from Varys, who's one of our community members, at IRF, and after this I was like, okay, these are super cool. So now we're that's actually one thing we haven't announced, but we're collaborating with Out of Darts now. So
awesome.
Yeah, we'll be offering some of their products. just
Nice.
because it is a great sort of adjacent project
Mhm.
that you can really start using your 3D printer. And it's the same, that sort of DIY, like wanting to build something. I feel like you still get that enjoyment in a project that is also very affordable compared to building a Voron or something like that.
I think that's something that's neat. The one thing I like about um, what Bamboo's been doing lately is they have those projects that like the mouse.
Yeah.
But having stuff like that, the blasters, an RC car, other these things that can be enabled by a 3D printer rather than the whole hobby being modifying and building the 3D printer.
Yeah.
Really pushing, because that's going to widen the audience. When you get hobbyists in other areas that can see the capabilities and the things that you can do with a 3D printer that's not just building 3D printers.
Totally. When you figure out what drone, if you have figured out, share it with me, please.
Oh, I
If
have
you
no
figure
idea.
out- okay, if you do one, let me know. That's one of those ones that I also started. And I just never got to a point where I ever finished the project. And so yeah, that would be, I want to do it, and I want to be able to do it mostly because I've bought drones that lasted like 45 minutes or less. There's one's probably still stuck in a tree somewhere, like it would be nice if it's like, well, I can always, I can use the parts that I already have, I can always print off most of it. That would be a fantastic build.
The problem with drones right now is just all the regulations that are in the way, and making sure that you don't get yourself in trouble with that.
Yeah.
I think I wanted to mention before we get too far off the topic, but if anybody is looking at printed RC stuff, check out the 3D set stuff. I have nothing to do with them. I'm just really impressed with the way they do their designs. So
What's it called? 3D sets?
3D sets, 3dsets.com, and they're designers. They are doing a phenomenal job of designing for 3D printing in mind.
Oh, they're beautiful. Oh, they have like a little boat too.
Yeah, the boat is really cool. I want to build it.
Hippie.
We were talking about it. I think I've got super chat money set aside for the 3D sets boat.
All right, this is a project. These look fun.
Those are I built the buggy, the Sandy. They call it the Sandy. I built that on was that Charlie's Angel stream? That's something we could talk about. I have my members, my channel members, and usually the Charlie's Angel streams are something a little adjacent. Maybe it's we've done blaster builds, we've done the RC builds, we've done things like disassemble this V0 to get it ready for this stream. But those are all done to members only for the month, and then made public the next month, so nobody actually misses out on it long term.
These are really cool. They look like they're small.
No.
They're not?
No. The Sandy is probably this.
Oh, okay.
This long.
No, that's fantastic.
They're basically, they call them 8th scale.
Okay, yes. Okay. But so they're 8 scale size?
Yeah.
So yeah, they're fairly large.
Yeah, they're a good 16 to 18 inches long for that.
It looks like most of them would be in sort of the crawler category. So I'm guessing, yeah, they're not going super fast, but they are things that you can drive in grass and stuff really easily. Yeah. And
yep.
Oh, that's cool. Okay, I'm leaving this page open.
I think I discovered that from Prusa. They have a mini Land Rover basically model that 3D sets put on printables as kind of an example thing.
Oh yeah,
they did a blog post or something on it, and that's where I learned about it.
Well, this is sweet. Okay, thank you. We've got another project.
Just added to your list.
Yeah, for people that follow me know that I started because I was building a V2, and it was still, this would have been like July or August, kind of right when I feel like things like skyrocketed in 2001. I still haven't finished that printer. That printer Like when I started this thing, I just have never got the time. So that would be a trivia question, and it would be a future forward one, but whenever that one gets done. But I love picking up new projects and not finishing old ones. Oh man. Okay, cool. I am looking at that.
Someone says there's a vendor that sells 3D set hardware kits too.
Oh,
I'd
who
like to
does?
probably find that because I've
Yeah.
self-sourced mine, and some of them can be a little challenge to
Mhm.
get the parts for. I've done AliExpress for belts and stuff like that. If there was a US
Yeah.
based vendor for parts kits, there's a market for you.
Steven, if you know who does, put it in there. I mean, I'm not, I honestly, we don't, you should know, we don't care if it's, you know, I am very curious because I will just buy the kit. It looks way easier.
Yeah.
Okay, well,
Squirrel.
we find out.
So, Steve, what do you have lined up for next Sunday stream?
Next Sunday stream will be the celebratory stream.
Yeah, but what do you have
Just a
planned?
day of giveaways, or do you have other things that you're doing on the stream?
Oh, we're gonna hang out and I'm gonna give away a bunch of stuff.
We're asking for specific spoilers.
Specific spoilers? I'll give the big one. We're giving away a Trident kit.
Woo!
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's huge.
Yeah.
Is LDO doing that one?
Yeah.
Sweet.
So Jason says, hey, do you want to give away, we can do a V0 or a Trident kit. And before I could respond, he said, let's do the Trident kit. So I said, awesome.
Nice.
That matches.
Totally. No, that's fantastic.
So
Wow. Yeah, that would be an amazing stream. And can you remind us what time that was?
10
10?
a.m. Pacific. My regular streaming time.
Yep.
Sweet.
My regular streaming time on that Sunday. I like the Charlie Remembered stream. I had something ready to work on if it felt like the stream was slow and I needed to have something to keep my hands busy. I'll probably have something ready, but I suspect we're just going to be chatting and drawing and
Yeah. Well, it sounds like, I mean, you've got a lot of prizes too, so if you need, you probably have time you can eat up with all the fun things that you're going to be giving away. That's fantastic.
So
And that's
that's just a teaser. There is a whole list of amazing generosity and it's almost entirely, it's pretty much entirely people that I've worked with. That was kind of the goal. I wanted people I've interacted with, that have supported me over the last 2 years, and yeah. I'll get that. I'll be getting that actually scheduled in YouTube within the next day, because I wanted to be sitting out there, kind of ready.
Sweet. We are donating. I honestly can't remember everything. We are donating I think we're doing the Neptune 4 Pro. We've got a gift card or two. I think another PF meter. We're gonna do so Steve, we're also gonna have that sign. I don't think I mentioned that, but we had PF come to the office the other day and sign a bunch of meters. So it'll be a sign meter, filament. That may be it. But anyway, there's prizes. It'll be fun. And again, we're just one place, so I know it's going to be just a bonanza of prizes. It'll be fantastic.
Yeah, it's gonna be exciting.
Cool.
So,
yeah,
I'm having a few heart palpitations realizing how much I have to prep for in the next the next week now.
Yeah. Do you, I mean, your Sundays, I mean, is it mostly you're able to dedicate most of the day for the stream? Because I know you have long streams, and I assume there's a prep time and all that stuff. So yeah, that's good dedication. I mean, because you're a prolific streamer, I feel like. There's not very many weeks that it seems like you're taking off.
Pretty much an event is the only thing that's held me back. And I mean,
Do
when we were
you
doing when we
do
were
you
doing the
stream at
ModBot
events?
streams, it was it was
Do you do any
twice
event
a week.
streams? Like
I do not.
okay,
I
so
do
you
I do
just like,
not.
this is my time off.
I go to interact with people.
That's
And
good.
if I have to worry about whether I've got good signal and whether whatever, I'm not, I don't feel like I'm comfortable enough to do interviews and whatever, chatting with booth participants, and I don't know. It hasn't been
Well,
on my thing.
I mean, I've really appreciated the events that I've been able to talk to you and just meet you. You're always, I already said it, but you radiate this very positive energy. You're always, I feel like you're always smiling. I leave just thinking like, wow, Steve, what a great guy.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, it's that's the truth. That's what, and I've heard others say it as well. So no, you keep doing what you're doing, man, because yeah, I think you're contagious.
Thanks.
Why don't we, because we are getting close to that 7, and I also told my wife that I'd be wrapping up around 7. I've got now a laundry list of things at Target I have to pick up. Let's go ahead and do a couple more. Let's do the other giveaways. Steve, did you have any other trivia questions that you had prepared?
Sure, I got a couple more I can
Oh,
do.
sweet.
Cool.
Well, let's go ahead. Let's do yours.
Okay. So I've given some general estimates on how many printers I have total. And this would be, I would say these are printers that are probably within an hour or two I could print with it, right? Not something like Tribent is in a box that doesn't count as a printer in my collection. Other unfinished projects wouldn't count, but this V0 here, this counts because this has printed. It's a rebuild. How many printers do I have? Oh boy, everybody's already.
Yeah, people
guessing.
already
People knew
They
where
know
that
what
was
the
going.
question's going to be. Let's see. I got to scroll back and see if. I don't know what it is with my questions. I feel like it should take at least a few guesses, but it was got on the very first guess.
Zombie got it?
Yeah.
Awesome.
If you were to ask me like a few weeks ago without me counting them, I probably would have gone through and said probably early, mid, low 20s. But I was a little surprised. It's 21. I counted them right before stream.
That's a good amount. Did you get to a point where you're like, okay, now I need to start offloading them? I know you said that you gave your Enderwire, I think, to a friend. Do you get to a point where you're like, okay, I need to clear some space?
Sort of, but they're builds. They're custom builds. The
You don't wanna let
Enderwire
it
went to
go.
a friend. The Switchwire, that from the very beginning, that was intended to be given away. And
Okay.
the Rook that I'm going to build is from the beginning is intended to be given away.
Okay.
So that's something I think I was asked what projects are coming up. A Rook
Sweet.
is on the.
Are you doing the 2020 or like
No, it's
version?
the Mark 1. It's a Fabrico kit.
Okay, cool, awesome. Yeah, it should
But
be.
that's been on my shelf for probably like 4 months now. It's a little stale.
It's
but-
a fun build. It's a fun build.
Yeah.
You'll enjoy it. It's that one for me it's one of those builds that they do now, I think, have kind of a manual for the Rook. But you really, you look at the pieces and you look at the bag of screws and you grab out a screw and you like set up there and you're like, yeah, that one will work, and then and then at the end of the day, you end up being short something because you use something, use a 10 when you should use a 12mm or something, but it's a fun build.
And looking at it already, I think I'm going to make a couple of tweaks before the build actually starts. So
there was a couple. I know for like that one, we had Gulsifer do a mod that took a popular mod, which is the barracks, which is like a storage beneath, and throw all the electronics below the printer just to get it out of the side. There's a lot of interesting mods for the power, and some of them look more safe than others. So there was, a lot of consideration there, but it is a very fun build.
Yeah.
So 21. Okay, so sorry, I'm losing track of my thoughts. So Zombie, you know how to contact me. Let me know. I didn't say what we're gonna give away on this one, so let me know. If you don't have one of the meters, I will send you a meter. I feel like I can't give away the signed one, but I will send you a meter or a thing of filament. So just let me know. Let's do this one for the signed meter, and now I can announce it. And so whoever gets the next trivia thing, Steve, can you do one more? We'll get the signed tension meter. And if you guys haven't used this thing, it is a very, very nifty and very handy tool. And the person that put this together, I mean, over a very long time, was developing this. It just works fantastic, especially for things like relative belt tension. Like, to be able to do that in like seconds is just a wonderful thing. It is a great mod. The person that put this together will tell you he knows way more about belts than he thought he would ever know about belts. It is a fantastic mod. So whoever gets this next trivia question will get one of these.
Yeah, I think this is the last one I have. So I'll end with I placed a West 3D order today.
Oh shoot.
What did I order? One of the things I ordered.
It probably wasn't a belt meter, because we don't ship like with teleportation, because he's got
I already have one. So this is based on anybody who was watching today's stream knows, and it sounds like Mike G was watching today's stream.
Was it? Oh, fans. Okay.
I actually hooked up 2 fans backwards.
Oh no.
Yeah. I'm a little embarrassed. I did also order another roll of the Galaxy Black Ambrosia.
Oh, cool. Are you liking it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Sweet.
I've printed a few things with it.
Awesome. No, that's great. And are you doing the ASA then?
Yeah.
Sweet. Awesome. Yeah. It's one of those, I hope we get to the point where people just start making the switch over. I don't see the.
I still like my ASA because I can grab it off the shelf and it turns out consistently good every time.
Mm-hmm.
My AS.
You like your ABS? You meant
ABS. That's what I meant. It's been
just consistent.
Coming up on 6 hours of streaming today now. ABS I like because I can grab it off the shelf and I'm pretty confident that it's going to print the way it did last time. ASA is a little more hygroscopic. Mm-hmm. So in order to get a good print, I should prep and throw it in the dryer to be confident that it's going to. So that's the big drawback of the
I just wing
over ABS.
No, that's awesome. Cool. So who was that?
That was Mike G.
Fans. Awesome. Hey, so yeah, Mike G, just reach out and let us know, and we'll make sure that you get one of these guys. And yeah, that's awesome. I will say one thing, it's not advertised, but our versions, I think right now, are the only ones that actually have these extra support pins in them. It's not part of the, like, if you look on I think the GitHub, I don't think it comes with those. And it's just to allow for extra, make sure that these pieces don't snap off if you have like too much tension. The normal ones, if you do ABS, I think he said are good for up to like 16 pounds, which is plenty for most people, but some people really like to go tight on their belt, I guess. With the ASA, because now these are in Ambrosia, he said that's it's significantly more. So the pins aren't really necessary, but we still have the pins. It just makes it a lot more indestructible, just as a heads up. So you'll get one with pins in it. I don't have a trivia question, so I'll think of one. But Alan, do you have one? Because I think we should give away. We have the West 3D hot sauce, and we'll do one more roll of ambrosia.
Yeah, and I'm going to cheat and go back to something that Steve and I were talking about before we got started here. What is Steve using to hold up the backdrop that is currently behind him?
Let's see if anybody gets this.
Morton got it right on both counts. Steve is indeed using a Masumi extension.
So
I bought Masumi extrusion on a 70% off sale, and I think they're 8-foot sticks, about like 8-foot sticks. That's what I mean. That's what these are.
And the thing is, I mean, there's so much use. What somebody posted, I think on our last stream, Heart K posted the little like wagon thing or whatever trailer that he built from extrusions. I mean, there's so many things you can do. So I just feel like, yes, if you can find a great deal, it's one of those like, why not? So you'll find something.
Yeah, I think it was 8-foot sticks for $100 shipped.
Oh wow, that's great. That's fantastic. So who got that question?
Morton.
I think you maybe already have this, but you want some more West 3D delicious hot sauce, which is a Pex Pepper product. It's something that he made for us. It has if you have 3D glasses, the label you can use in 3D glasses. We really love our hot sauce, and so he came through with this. You should thank you again, Pex, for doing that. And Aaron, you're gonna have to DM me. I don't know what the special question is.
It's the question we ask of the guest before.
Oh, we'll do that for sure. We will do that before we leave.
I got to think about that one.
Let's see. I had a question. Oh, yeah. So let's do that. So West 3D Green was a quest, I guess, from some other member in the community that went out and tried to get an old color that he'd really liked or enjoyed remade. They stopped making the color. What color was that? And maybe that's too hard. Well, okay, I'm just gonna say I'll do the who, and somebody already got it, so we'll just do that because I think the color is not fair. So it was Klee. The color I was gonna give you guys some time because I knew it would take forever, and I was gonna get it again. But yeah, I will tell you because I've got it here. I will give another roll if any of you guys know the Pantone color. Yeah, I gotta look here. See, Pantone's on the app. I think we translate it to hex. So okay. Well, so Jeff, you were the first one I think that said Klee. That I think is good. And so yeah, you get a roll of filament. So just message us info@west3d. Let us know which filament you want, and we'll send it your way. It is the same attempt that I think you would get from or that you got from Super Green. KBP Super Green did a batch, which we actually carried for the longest time, and I held here for one of my builds, one of like the B stock spools, and now I don't need that anymore. But yes, so if you've had Super Green, it's very similar. And it happens to be, it's one of our logo's like a gradient, and it's very close to one of the sort of colors on our gradient. And so that's why we are calling it West Green. So that is that. Oh, somebody's close. Oh, Thunder Keys got the Pantone. So Thunder Keys, you won something. See, you still won. You get a roll of filament. Just let us know which one you want. Now we do have, because we're at the 7 o'clock mark, and we're going to start winding down here. We do have that last question that we always ask. I will preface, we do have sort of a stream forever in the plan, or the planning, which is we're going to do something, I think, with Protopasta here fairly soon. They are close by. They're going to give us, I think, a tour of their sort of filament production. Hudson works in the filament production area, so he's a good person, I think, to give us that information. And then we're going to interview with one of the founders of the company just to learn a little bit more about Protopasta. So that's one of the next things. We do not have any others, I think, lined up. Is that correct, Alan?
No.
Yeah. So Steve, the question that we always ask is, if sort of in our next or future Meet the Maker, is there a maker in the community that you think we should reach out to?
Can I give you a short list?
You're very diplomatic here. Sure, a short list works.
I think a short list, but I'm not thinking. I have some pretty good idea who's already been on. I think some of the folks that would be interesting to hear from is, of course, Daniel Modbot is a great idea. Jared from the Voron team. Mastermind is responsible for some Printers for Ant stuff. And Z Rencho is an interesting person to talk to. And those are just kind of skimming through my DMs, basically thinking of people I'd like to talk to.
Sweet. Alan, do you have? Well, I guess we have those saved. We can look back at this. And some
Nero
of those
wouldn't be a bad idea either.
Who is that?
I see that in chat. Nero.
Yeah, that would be a good one too. And I actually I did corner Nero at for one of those events too, and be like, "Hey, would you do Meet the Maker?" He said yes, so I'm gonna hold him to it.
Yeah, and Alan Mandic. I mean, there's so many names.
Mandic would be good too.
There's so many, and I had such a good time building that Trident with him at IRF. So I didn't have any real interactions with him before that, and it was very much we each did our own thing, and things got done, and we knew each other were going to actually get something done right. It was good.
Sweet. Yeah. It's one of those things I don't think we'll ever run out of people, and that's fantastic.
Yeah.
There's so many new mods and new things that people are bringing out. Someone mentioned Maple Leaf Makers, mentioned Chirpy.
Actually,
I would love to put Hector on camera too. So I mean, there's
Hector,
Jason from LDO, I think would be good too. So I mean, yeah, there's a lot.
Hector doesn't want to be on camera.
Well, we'll find a way.
I was going to say Sanity. I have spoken with Chirpy. There's a maybe in there. There are some people that we've reached out to that for whatever reason, timing wasn't good, or, some people just don't like the idea of being on camera. So.
Yeah, Ellie would be good too. Yeah, there's a lot. I think, and this is one of those things that we probably, if we had the time, I mean, this could be a weekly or every other week kind of thing. There are so many people. Yeah.
If we do Ellie, I demand samples.
She can mail them to us. Well, we'll have one here. I keep I even added her in the Discord server like the other day, trying to like kind of pressure her to like send me one early. But we paid for one. I'm gonna have one right here when people walk in. I think it'd be just super cool. You walk in to pick up an order or something like that, and it's like, hey, do you want a 3D printed chocolate? I mean, I think people would just think it's awesome. Or kids come in, yeah, and they, while their parents are out here shopping, they can watch a chocolate printer. I'm excited for that. That's one build I'll drop everything.
I imagine European guests are a little challenge for time zone wise, right?
They can be, yeah.
Yeah.
We did Sanity. That was actually really good, but yes, I
Sanity
think
doesn't sleep.
Nope.
So
yeah, that's an exception there. Yeah. No, this has been awesome, Steve. Again,
that's great.
It's wonderful to have you. I know you have to be exhausted. You're probably starting to lose your voice. And
I can tell a little bit, but not bad.
Yeah.
I'm still recovering.
Well, it's been fantastic. Every time I've been able to speak to you, I leave happy. I'm gonna leave happy today.
Awesome.
It's been wonderful. This has been a great stream, a good episode, I think.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun. I appreciate it.
Yeah, of course. And guys, gonna remember next week, Steve has his 10,000 subscriber milestone events. There are going to be a ton of giveaways. It'll make whatever we do, this is going to be 1,000 times bigger. And it will be a really, really fun stream, I think.
It's gonna be awesome.
So it's November 12th
Yep.
at 10 a.m. Pacific time. And so we will see you there because I'm going to be on there for sure.
Awesome.
So I look forward to saying hi, seeing all you guys here. Thanks for joining. If you guys have any other questions, Steve, I always ask this too, and it does happen pretty frequently. But if someone reaches out to us, can I DM you?
Yeah.
If there's anything else?
Yeah, absolutely.
Great. If you guys do have any questions that you guys didn't feel comfortable or we missed, just reach out to us and we'll make sure that those questions get answered. So yeah, awesome. Thank you guys.
Yeah, thanks
Awesome.
again,
Thanks,
Steve.
guys.
I'm gonna run to
This was fun.
Target.
Thanks, Steve.
Take care, everyone.
All right. Good night,
Thank you
everybody.
guys.
See ya.
Bye.
And we are gonna go away.